of them because and also because not because I'm interested in the AI field, also because I'm a huge Vim nerd and I have seen their work, I've been following them, and I'm a really big fan of the Vim configuration as well. I was stalking the GitHub for some unknown reason. So, anyways, welcome Sudarshan Iyengar, sir. He's here with us today, and he's here to impart his wisdom and knowledge to us. So I cannot elaborate much about you because I feel like you would be able to do that best yourself. So, sir, once again, welcome to GDSC IIT Chennai. You can kindly begin. My name is Ayush Datta, and I'm the host of this meeting. Sir, I had one question before we can begin, if you are there.
Hi, Ayush, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi, sir. Hi, sir. Hi. Sir,
Hi. So I have my
bef-
student
yes.
Aditya. Is he here? Maybe he can raise his hand just so that we can, because he's going to help me. Aditya is here. Hi. And then we need another help, Ayush. Is there any way we can have the polling possibility here? Do you have the poll option here enabled?
I think the polling option is not enabled yet. I will look into it. I will try to enable it.
Yeah. So otherwise, Aditya, maybe you can try to float a Google form.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Hmm?
I will float it and pin it. Yeah. No problem.
Okay. Perfect.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great, sir. Sir, I'm a very big fan of you, honestly. I've been following you on LinkedIn for a few days. Not few days, but few weeks, actually, if I'm being honest.
Acha, so yeah, so there's nothing to be a fan of, but yeah, I'm flattered and humbled at the same time. Good to see you
So,
all.
yes. So I also I was scrolling through a GitHub and I came across one of these projects called Sudvim. I feel like you might recall that.
Tadwin, is it? What is that?
So Sudvim, you wrote a new Vim configuration in your GitHub.
I see. Maybe one of my PhD students would have done it. If you can
Yes.
send me the link, maybe later I will see and tell you what is the status of the projects. Generally, GitHub projects start off very well, but they don't continue, as you
Sure,
know.
sir. Yes, indeed. Because we have a flourishing Linux community in GDSC, and there we talk a lot about Vim and Linux and everything. So, when I saw that, my eyes they just sparkled for some reason. So yeah.
I see.
A-
So you can just let me
Anyways,
know what it's about, and
yes,
I
yes.
will try. I can, yeah.
Sure,
Perfect.
sir. So, would you like to begin the seminar? We are waiting.
Yeah. So we are all ready. Just that we'll do a small poll before starting. My student Aditya will help everyone with a Google form link, and we're going to show you some small illustration. Yeah, Aditya, onto you.
Yes. The link in the chat. Google Form link. Open and fill in the details. Am I audible?
Your voice isn't clear, Aditya, for some reason.
Is it better now?
No.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah. Now it is slightly only better, not not very better.
Sir, am I audible now?
Yeah, Ashik. Yeah, Ashik, you're
Yes, sir.
audible.
Yeah, sir. So hello guys. We have shared a Google form link in the chat box. Just fill out the Google form. It simply asks for your PIN code and your name, nothing else. We'll do a fun activity here.
Sir, am I audible clearly right now?
Yeah, you're very much audible.
Okay, sir.
So for everyone who is trying to fill the form, maybe you can fill the form quickly. A few people have joined just now, Aditya. Maybe you can reshare the link.
Sure, sir.
Sir, meanwhile we wait, can I ask you a few questions?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
So actually, now 1 second, let me turn on my camera. So I'm actually a cybersecurity enthusiast, and the latest trends that we're seeing with the AI industry that's currently like very much flourishing in the IT industry at this point. So what I noticed is that like with the increase in need of AI, we have the increase in need of LLM security or AI security specifically. So I want your opinions and suggestions on that if you have any.
Yeah. So firstly, by me, I mean anyone for that matter, any academician or even an industry expert. It is very difficult for us to sort of be updated on all fronts. But that said, we have been watching both academia and industry for a long time. With that little wisdom, I can give an answer for your question because I'm no expert in cybersecurity, but I understand the basics of it. One and LLMs, as we know, we don't seem to understand the subject beyond its whatever is the recent advances, right? And where it's going, where the projectile is, we don't know. That said, I'm going to get back to the 1960s, where computer science, the development of hardware, as they call the Moore's law, right? People thought every few years it will get doubled. Moore said 6 to 7 years it's going to get doubled, and it did get doubled every 6 to 7 years, right? And then software did catch up with that in parallel, and security vulnerability has always been there with computers, but then very amazingly it was getting patched up very quickly. But then when a technology comes in, the vulnerability patch will come in some time, and before the patch comes, this gap is the place where people will make use of the vulnerability, and that is exactly the kind of window now being open for sort of unethical hackers to make use of what is vulnerable. And cybersecurity folks, cybersecurity researchers, experts are now trying to see how quickly we can patch that up. And that is where I think there's huge scope both in industry and academia for research in security, quote unquote, in general, focused on AI. Right. So I hope I answered your question. Do you have any specific question on this topic that you wanted to know?
Yes, sir. I mean, like my question actually sourced from another confusion. So, like a few days back, I'm sure like you must have noticed that Microsoft, they released their Copilot Plus PCs, and in that they had introduced a feature called Windows Recall, which used AI to like store whatever we were navigating through on our PCs, the entire status. We could always go back, like it was like a very universal, very robust version control system. So apparently what happened is that I'm sure you must have heard of it as well, is that the information was being stored in a database, and it was like stored without any like very serious protection, if I'm to talk about it in a non-technical sense. uh, so sir, like
When did this happen? Very recent, is it? I don't know of it. Let me just look that up. This happened very recent with Windows Recall, that the database was kept sort of open for anyone to access, and that was a question of prospective security safety breach, right?
Yes.
I see. So see, these kind of things again evolve. So let me tell you, there is this beautiful subject in security called the multi-party computation or oblivious computation, where you can do a lot of stuff inside your computer and no human being will get to know what's happening there. Right? I mean, things are so advanced there. In fact, they are 30, 40 years ahead of time. Maybe Microsoft or any other tech giant wouldn't know how to implement that at scale. In fact, these things came out of Microsoft research like places only. The crypto experts there are 20, 30 years ahead of time. Maybe it'll take some time, but then right now, I don't think there is anything that is not patchable. That is the fundamental law in security, that things are secure or yet to be secure. There is no such fundamental law. It's my customized fundamental law that I don't think anything that has been a huge threat in the field of internet. For instance, online shopping, they said, is a huge threat. Online credit card usage, they said, is a huge threat. But with time, they patched it up, right? The Microsoft's database related breach that is prospectively possible. I need to look into it. I don't know. But then I don't think it will be a big deal. People will patch that up. Security patches are easy to come by, but it takes time.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, thank
So
you so
Aditya,
much.
are we done?
Yes.
So I guess yes, there are 100 people who have given the survey, almost 100, and yes,
Okay, very good.
100.
So can you show us the code? Can you show us the terminal? Share the terminal and show us the code.
Sure, sir.
So Aditya is doing something with the data that's collected. So let's see what he has to say.
So I'm unable to. I'm sharing the screen, and I need some request. Yeah. So is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Please go ahead.
Yep. So here we'll be doing some data analysis. So first I'll be loading some data. For that I'll be uploading some data. So here we are uploaded a data which has India pin code list.xlx. So this has all the pin codes of India within different cities and places. Meanwhile, I'll write the remaining code. Two underscore codes. We have pin code. So almost done. Then str pin code. So you're getting all the pin codes, coordinates. So just some error handling in case we get some random data or data that we do not expect. Everything's fine. We'll return the coordinates. So the data is being still uploaded. So I'll write the next part of the code. We'll be doing some data cleaning right now. So some errors, like if there are float values instead of float values, if there are some string or nan values within the data, or if someone entered less number of digits inside the pin code. So data underscore user CSV data underscore user CSV.
So Aditya is writing a small small code which is going to pick the lat lon of your pin code.
Yes.
Given the pin code, it's going to get the lat and lon. Okay. So as you can see what he's doing, it's pretty obvious. So he's using pandas to read from your CSV file.
So here I'm getting it.
Yeah, wonderful. Don't worry, we'll not use your data and location for anything apart from educational purposes. Also, the moment we show you what we have done, we will delete that data set. We want to show you something very fascinating right now. So maybe you can use prompts to do it quickly, Aditya, if you want. Okay,
Yes,
here
sir.
is a list of pin codes in a list.
On the
Very
list
good. So as you can see, there are, yeah, Aditya, go on.
Yes, so as you can see, this is all the list of pin codes. Now I'll just do some verifications checks. I think by visually I see that you have entered all the pin codes properly, so I won't be doing much verification. So I'll write the main code. So for this, we'll be using a library called Folium.
So how many pin
So
codes you
from
have? Entire India or just a sample?
plugins, and we'll use a heat map function.
Okay, Folium is just some API facility. It's some library function, right? What is that? I don't know. He's saying import heat map. I sort of know what he's going to do with that. I'm just thinking like you people.
So I'll store it here. Chords equal to.
The point we are trying to make is it's easy to do these things today, right? It doesn't take any time. We collected data from you people, and we're going to show you the heat map of the participants of today's lecture. You probably have an application already where you go and feed in where you are from, it shows the heat map. But the point is that raw data collected using Python and then showing it is pretty easy. What has this to do with the talk today? Let's see.
So we are almost done.
Yeah. That's right, Nila. This is from the data that you just now submitted.
So we have imported the data. Import this. Yeah.
So you can even copy paste the snippet. Is it done?
Yes, sir, almost.
Okay. So if you have the existing code, maybe you can even copy paste it.
Yes, sir, I think that is. I think this is working. Just a minute.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Aditya rocks. By the way, keep your video on, guys. There are so many people out there, 141. I used to use a small technique. What I would do is I'll switch off my video. I'll say at least 1/3 of them to switch on the video. Only then I'll switch on the video. Right. And then people would switch on the video. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to trust you people that you will switch on the video. Oh, look at this. I see a lot of our our well-known students. Hi, Jatin Goyal. Hi, Devasmith. Hi, Kushi. Hi, Aditya BMV. I know you. You are right here. Sayam Jain. Ashik is also here. Madhur is also here. Very nice. Did I miss out on someone? If you switch on the videos, maybe I can recognize you people. Okay, very nice. Guess what we are doing? Maybe Devasmith.
I think we collected the pin code data from all the participants and then trying to do a heat map of where
that's it.
how we'll distribute it, right?
Correct, exactly. So my question to you all, anyway, I also see Ravi Kumawat, hi. My question to you all is, how will this help my talk? Maybe Sayam Jain can make an attempt. Will this help my talk? Will this help me custom tailor my talk?
Yes, sir. You can recognize your audience.
That's right. Imagine I had the details of the gender, the background, the sort of even your GPA for that matter. What subjects you have finished may not be GPA. What subjects you have finished, you have credited, right? Oh wow, wonderful! That's so nice. Look at this, guys. So there are a lot of people. What is this? There are a lot of people from Delhi or Punjab. What place is that?
Many people from
That's really
Delhi,
red.
some
Now, for a moment, I felt some cyclone is coming and hitting this part of the nation. Very good. So what does the color signify? Violet to red, the spectrum of light, right? So
yes.
violet is the least. What is VIBGAI? Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red is the highest, right? Very nice.
So Delhi,
what is happening? You're zooming in, is it?
yes, sir. Delhi is expected, but I see a big concentration in Bihar, I believe, right? That's actually surprising.
Chennai is also expected. Very nice. A lot of people from Chennai. Excellent. Bengaluru, very few people, very disappointed.
Yes, sir.
Mysore,
Some
only
from
one,
Shiva.
I guess, because I entered that as my location. I lied there. I wanted at least one vote for Mysore there. Very good. And nobody below Mysore. The Biharis are everywhere. That's very true. I'm married to a Bihari too. I didn't mean to get personal here. Very nice. What is that? Tirupati, is it? There's a red block there next to the.
Yes, Tirupati
That's
also.
Chennai. That's Chennai, I guess. Yeah. No, that's Chennai. Next to Chennai is Tirupati.
Some from
Okay. More. What is the highest? Go up, and then stay there. Maybe zoom out and then show the whole of India.
Yes, sir. I think yes. Chennai and somewhere near Bihar over here, and some Bengaluru and New Delhi.
This is interesting. So the bigger point that we are trying to make is, do we get to customize our lessons if we know this data? First question. Definitely a very good question to ask. Answer, I do not know. But we can attempt it today with the kind of technologies that we have. Imagine what just happened. Aditya asked for the data from all of you. Right? Anyway, this is independence special. I didn't know. This is a coincidence, guys. We didn't want to show India map today on purpose because it's Independence Day. It's just quite coincidence that we are showing you the map. Anyway, it feels so good to see that so many people from different parts of India are united here for the Zoom session. Unity with diversity, as they say. Colored unity with diversity, with different number of people from different places. Anyway, so as you can see, we observe that there are people from different ends, and this is today very easily possible, where you collect data through Google Forms, and then take that data and then use a open source software which is all pretty well built and well developed, that you don't have to pay anything for that. You go to Google Colab and boom, that's it. There's no payment involved anywhere. Otherwise, MATLAB would cost so much back in the days of, let's say, 2010, 2000s, right? Nothing is used free of cost. The only thing probably is the Zoom subscription, which again, IIT Madras, I'm sure, is sponsoring this, or Google is sponsoring it, I don't know. And boom, here we are able to see the heat map of who is from which place, right? Of course, there could be a plugin like this in Zoom itself. No brainer, we can do it. But then if you want to develop something new, it's a cakewalk today, right? In 2024, it's a cakewalk. Now, how do I make use of it? How can I use some data analytics skills, some quote unquote artificial intelligence ideas to custom tailor my talk once I take all your data? I do not know, but it's a very fascinating question, which we can attempt today, which probably we wouldn't attempt, let's say, a couple of years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. We had no clue that this could even be done. Things are getting increasingly easy right now. Anyways, so with this, let's start the talk. And I am no more interested to deliver a linear talk where I start off talking and then the clock strikes 9 and then I stop. For that, you can watch YouTube videos. Either my professors or even better, a top class institute's top class professor, right? So you don't have to come online to listen to a live lecture from my end. So what we instead will do is we'll try to make it interactive. Try to ask us questions and we will try to answer, or maybe I'll explain the concept surrounding the idea if I know it. So the field is so big right now. We have to confess, I'm no god man who sits and has answers to all the questions that anyone can ask. I may or may not know, but I'll try my level best to answer. Most of what you may ask probably is an FAQ, which I might know. If I do, then I'll answer. Go ahead, raise your hand and ask me a question. Try to keep your video on as much as possible. Let's have a fun session, guys. Go ahead. Yeah, the moderator maybe can take the question. I'll just quickly grab some water and come back.
Sure. Can you drop the question in the chat?
Okay, so let's let them switch on the video and then talk. Yeah, Arka, please go ahead. Preeti Mohan, please go ahead.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, very much.
Yes, sir. I was asking that can you give us some idea about merging AI with human communication?
Merging AI with human communication, I think there is nothing much to talk there. We are seeing what's happening with communication, right? The Swift key usage was once a top class machine learning algorithm where you just swipe and then it would show you words. And right now, speech to text has become an amazing tool. And as you can see, write with AI option in LinkedIn is a powerful communication mechanism. ChatGPT is a great communication mechanism, right? They're all AI driven. And I'm sure there will be less and less requirement for people who would, I'll just show you a nice meme if you can give me a minute, which I was discussing with my team today. So there was this, hypocritic statement by the teachers of 1990s that, oh, you may not have a calculator in your pocket all the time, so you must know some arithmetic. And now we have calculators in our pocket in the form of mobile phones. And not just that, we have a high definition camera, which would be this big, and a big tape recorder, which would be this big in our pocket. We have a big typewriter in our pocket. We have a big telephone in our pocket. In fact, there's a nice meme with a guy holding so many items, and all of that is now in the pocket, right? Communication has reached next stage. I don't think we should worry much about communication, but still creativity in communication, I don't think devices have taken over, AI has taken over. But then yes, communication has gone to a brand new level. We all should use the newly found LLM technology in communicating, if that's what you asked.
Sir,
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Divya Jyoti, go ahead.
Sir,
Ha, Preeti.
hello, sir.
yes, sir. Sir, so my question is, sir, sir, after completing the introduction to Python course, sir, can we do any intensive after completing all the 95 videos of the playlist of Python? In,
Okay, who asked this question? Raise your hand.
yes, sir.
I'm unable to see your video.
Sir,
Okay, so it's a sincere request that we will stick to technical questions only. Personal questions about your career we will discuss at the end. I'll give you all a small offer. You can join a team of really cool people who sit every day at 9 p.m. and then discuss. Right? There is such a team. I will tell you the way to get into such a team. All right. So let's go ahead with technical questions only.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Am I audible?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Maybe the next question.
Hello, sir. Am
Hi,
I
hi.
audible?
Yeah, very much.
Sir, I wanted to ask, sir, all the models, all the large language models, be it open source or closed, that we use in today's world, so most of them are based on the Transformers architecture. So it came back in 2017, and it was developed through a series of development, starting from the encoder decoder architecture, which started in 2014, I guess, and then continued with development. So, sir, can we? My question is there any new architecture that has come or that has not gained that much attention, which is better than Transformers architecture?
Yeah. See. Okay. So this very question of the Transformers becoming so famous has been, in my opinion, quite a coincidence. That if you read the attention is all you need paper,
Yes,
they
sir.
very beautifully state in the tag attached below in the footnote that we took this model and then plugged in this model and then plugged in this model, and boom, we got an encoder. Okay, and then plugged in this model, and it became a decoder. And this particular architecture is doing well, right? How?
Yes.
Why? We don't know. It's doing well, right? They show the proof, and then people have scaled it up in successive papers, right? That said, I think this is going to see even further scaling as and when so there's always this optimization question of increasing the devices and bettering the algorithm, bettering the technique used, right? Tweaking the technique. So this is going to get better, but I don't think we can see any great improvement very soon, because we are stuck with the ability to stack neurons, and the scaling laws again is a bothersome point of discussion. If you don't know what that is, maybe you can look it up. The scaling laws of neural networks, right? It is saying that you cannot go beyond a limit when it comes to computation. Yeah. So XLSTMs, KA neural networks, yeah, they're all coming up, but then putting them to use, we are unsure of it. Yes, Meta, OpenAI, all of them are doing something proprietary. We don't seem to understand what exactly they, is their architecture internally. For instance, just like your Google search engine or your Insta recommendations, YouTube recommendations, one aspect of it is algorithmic, we understand, but the proprietary aspects of it we don't understand, right? Anyway, so the idea is you as students should gain mastery over using a piece of technology. Gone is the era when you must learn how to code, to sort and search and then understand data structures, because in the industry you will take a laptop and you write your code over there. Now now that's gone. The code is all there in the cloud, and the facility is given to you in the form of API. You should see how you can use that API and develop systems. I want to take a pause and then explain this a little for you people. I repeat, there was a time when you had to sort of cable TV era, if you say, this is a nice analogy, cable TV era, if you can recollect, in the late 90s, if some of you are from the generation, you would install a big antenna somewhere and then pull up wire from there and then connect every single household. And nowadays video on demand has simply subverted this paradigm, right? The way you watch a movie, what should you install on your machine, on your television to get to watch a channel is very different right now. It is through internet, it is through an application, it is on your television, right? Similarly, the way you would code, way you would develop an application long back would be put all the software on your laptop, right? And use the best possible hardware that is available on your laptop, buy the best possible configuration and then use it here. Now that is gone. Everything is available on the cloud. It's delivered to you like electricity, like how Andrew Wenji puts it. AI is the new electricity, right? So you subscribe to it and you get AI facility. All this Llama 3.1 that comes and sits on the desktop and all is I don't believe in it, because of course we have tried it. It is wonderful for some time, but on laptop you can boil your omelette very easily in the next 5 minutes, right? It doesn't it doesn't scale up. Even keeping high-end GPU machines in your office with high-end cooling systems, they don't scale up. The idea is for you to see how you can use these facilities. Do not generate electricity inside, but use the electricity through wire and see what appliances can connect and what you can do with those appliances. That is the era right now. Going very deeply into the fundamental ideas of all these things is fun. We all are going to teach that. I teach that as a teacher, but then I find it less and less useful for the modern world. You must start driving the cars and see how cars can be useful and not worry so much about the engine inside. All right, so let's go to the next question. Jatin, yes, I'd like to hear you after a long time.
Thanks for giving me the chance, sir. Actually, I have a very weird topic in mind. You can choose to drop the topic also. The topic which I'm thinking right now is that it's related to suicide actually. When you're doing a robot suicide, I recently listened that robot did a suicide due to work pressure in the Japan country and there. So how we can prevent such things, or how we can, because this is a human tendency also, something is there or something we can plan to do or think about it, so we can avoid such situation in future. Something we put some thoughts.
I don't really understand this suicide of a robot thing that is in the news lately. I think to gain some hype, people do a lot of stuff. I don't know why this happened. Technically speaking, algorithmically speaking, I think it's a simple code that one can write saying that if the robot is feeling suicidal, switch off the robot. It's as simple as that, right? it's no rocket science, right? So certain things can, for instance, if your mobile gets heated up, it stops charging. As simple as that. One need not, I don't think an AI engine inside a mobile phone will override that and say, do not switch off. I want to get heated up. I want to be a hot cell phone and I will blow out as a bomb, right? I think if you understand some amount of there is a subject called theory of computation. There are certain things we can do. There are certain things we cannot do. For instance, a compiler cannot check whether something enters an infinite loop or not. While I was just discussing about security, anything to do with security, we can patch up. There is nothing that has gone unpatched in the world of security. People said, I was telling you, right, online transaction, people said cannot happen. It now happens. People said you cannot play chess online because you can be using a supercomputer and then cheat. This is my popular example that I give everywhere, right? Now, no, you try playing with a chess engine, we can detect it in 3 moves that you're using AI, right? You cannot cheat anyone. Try using AI and cheat me as a student. I will use AI to detect that you're cheating. So this robot wala business of committing suicide probably was for hype reasons. I don't know. I'm an academic. I have my right to question and create that cognitive conflict in the minds of fellow academicians who can also correct me. But I think this is probably a bug in the code. If you can take a look at the blackout bug in the US long back, right? Blackout bug. Due to a misplaced case statement in a C code, there was a blackout, power cut for like 24 plus hours or something, 2 full days or something in the US, right? A small code, displaced here and there can lead to such issues. I don't think it was AI that went wrong. It was human coding probably that went wrong there, right? Okay, yeah. So let's go to the next question. Rex Deva, go ahead. Ask me a technical question.
Hello, sir. A very good evening. Sir, I would like to know the difference for an AI beginner. What is the difference between a long chain model and a streamlet, sir?
I mean, I asked you to ask me a technical question. You should not ask me to, implement auto differentiation right now by opening a terminal. So ask me something that is technical enough, at the same time does not make me pull a PowerPoint slide or open a book and then read up from the handbook and then tell you.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, anything else, Rex Deva? You can go ahead with another question.
Sir, can you give me a very brief intro to Hugging Face, sir? What is Hugging Face?
Rex Deva, I can tell you what is Hugging Face, but again, what you can Google, for instance, Sanyam Jain is posting what is LangChain framework and what is Streamlit, right? So you can Google them. Hugging Face also you can Google. Basically, Hugging Face we all use. That is fantastic place where they implement ideas very quickly and keep it for open source usage. Right?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now don't ask me, sir, what is Facebook? What is Instagram? What is these questions? You should not use me like ChatGPT. You should use me as Sudarshan sir. Okay, next, Matlin, Jalesia or Harshal, go ahead.
Sir, we all know that AI startup is going on everywhere, sir. But the companies like Google, Microsoft, they all have same things. They have a the, hello. I'm audible, sir.
Hello, yes, you're audible. Go ahead.
Sir, they have an upper hand in doing this AI and stuff. Sir, as a citizen of this country, how I can create an AI company and what is the scope in this to do an AI business, sir? How
Okay,
that
so
whole theory works?
yeah, I popularly keep saying that even manufacturing a pencil requires 3 continents. The continent from where rubber comes, wood doesn't come. The place where wood comes, graphite doesn't come. So it requires 3 continents to make pencil. Show me a continent that can create pencil independently. I think you got the answer, right? I mean, this craze of India should create its own LLM or cannot create its own LLM, I don't think it should even be discussed, because without India, software won't be there the way it is today, right? Without US, which beautifully integrates things taken from different ends, without Taiwan supplying the required materials, we wouldn't have the electronic devices today. It's a very, very collaborative world. We have to be nationalistic in all points of view. Independence Day special, but then we should not overdo. We'll do everything inside. Shall we do one thing? We'll cook everything inside by growing all the ingredients in our farm, right? You should, mind you should not even get oil from outside. You should not even get your LPG cylinders from outside. Can you do everything in your house? I don't think so. I don't think
Yes.
it's I would say very unscientific. No, it's an innocent question. I'm not complaining against what you're saying, but then what can we do within India at the level of, can we create our own LLMs? I don't think should even be attempted, right? Yeah.
Right, sir. Sir, and another
Yes.
question, sir. Sir, that we all have developing ideas, sir, and we have to face that internships like GSOC is offering. In based on AI, how we can compete with other developers, sir? How we can do that such things with AI, sir? It is it possible for us to
I
get
don't
AI?
think I understood the question. Maybe we can take up the next question. You can type it in the chat window, a refined version of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Suchit Sharma, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible? Okay. Good evening, sir. Sir, what my question is, as we see, AI penetrating multiple markets, multiple fields of science, I would like to say, how would you say that, let's say, to be specific, it would penetrate the market of a mechanical engineer or an aerospace engineer?
Now that's a very good question, and I wish that, see, here is a portal where we are sitting to see if we can learn something from each other.
Yes, sir.
Understand that there is Suchit, basically I'm appreciating your question. You have YouTube this side where you get a lot of talks. You have ChatGPT, Google this side where you get a lot of answers. But a question like this, I think, is not available online for some reason, because the internet is so tweaked with search engine optimizations and whatever the clickbaits that you will not get the answer that you want. Even for your own syllabus, when you type something which is a question, it's not very easy to get an answer, right? Okay, so an answer which I think is answer to this is a $1 million fact, where, trust me, the whole of this ML, AI, data science is a huge hype. I get to say this because I can prove to you, you and me can sit together, and we have Davis Smith here also, who has a master's degree from North Carolina, if I'm not wrong, right? Davis Smith, North Carolina State University, where he studied statistics, right? And increasingly, we observe that most of these things is old wine served in the new bottle, the ideas, right? The ideas are all very pretty ancient. There is nothing new, including the neural networks that you're studying right now. Is nothing new. Even the transformer architecture that that someone was referring to right now is, of course, new. It's a mix and mashup, remix factory, well done, of well-known ideas. But then at the end of the day, it is old wine in the new bottle. That said, this old wine in the new bottle is today selling because we know we have the hardware, we know we have the right software, we know we have the right ideas, but trust me, none of these things are enough. We have enough data.
Yes, sir.
And lots of data, and this data is coming from devices. What devices? Mechanical devices used by civil engineers, devices used by lawyers. By devices, I mean the file logs that they have. You look at the US law, all the cases in the US, mine it, and you definitely will get to know what is the answer for the current situation. Just like how you look at the whole of Stack Exchange, understand all the answers. Imagine I had the neural network bandwidth for it in my brain. I take all those things. I'll be a super duper tech expert, right? And that's what your LLMs are also doing, right? Sort of creating an inferential engine out of so much of data, right? It is, in fact, AI today is less useful for students like you all. It is more useful for non-AI, non-CSC background people. Finance sector, law, medicine, pharma, right? Biotech. There it is completely unexplored. It's like saying, is there a demand for cars in New York? I don't think there is any more demand for cars in New York anymore, quote unquote, right? There is more demand for, whatever, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers in the nook corners of Africa and some parts of India, right? If you can make low-cost alternatives for these devices, they are more useful in these places than in New York, right? Yeah, good question, Suchit, and all of you. I think we should realize that it is important that you, as a BS in data science students of BS in data science, you walk out of your domain and then try to look at places where you can implement your ideas. Go to people who have devices, go to people who have a lot of data, and try to see if you can implement stuff there. But then, I repeat, do not break your head much about you writing a piece of code to run a neural network. As I said, use AI as electricity and try to see if you can get something done. That is more in demand today than getting into the architecture and then tweaking and then bettering it or correcting it. For some reason, we really don't understand how to do that kind of research or how to do that kind of a project today in India. At least I don't understand for some reason.
Sir,
right? And for many years to come, I think people who are rich, people who have the right toys will be able to do all the stuff, right? We won't be. Yeah, Suchit.
Sir, a follow-up question to that. Sir, do you think it would be, let's say, in the coming future, AI would become so normal that it would become, a basic necessity for each and every, let's say, every field, let's call it every field, be it engineers, be it doctors, but they must know how to at least use, if they not create a algorithm, but at least use one.
No, I'll tell you. You're again asking a very good question. So, how exactly will you be useful for a doctor? What we did with the heat map right now, unfortunately, there's no such application on Zoom. There is no open source application. Let's say maybe there is. I don't know, at least. Right? As a teacher, before every session, I want to gather this data. I want to ask you people some psychometric like tests, and I want to custom tailor my talk. Be very clear on what I will be talking, what I will not be talking. Right? Be very clear on up to what level I will go in my talk and where I will stop. Right? Or give me a meter where I will get a pulse of how much you people are understanding. A simple vision algorithm will tell me the sentiments on your face, and it will tell me whether you're interested in what I'm saying or not. Right? Keep the cameras on, and then I check whether you are there or not, whether you are looking at the monitor or not. Right? And this is privacy preserving in the sense that I'll just get a number on a 5-point scale saying that the engagement in this session is 4+. So I can continue doing what I'm doing. Or if it drops below 2, I better switch on my Netflix and then watch a movie than deliver this talk. Right? So such is an application, and it is today doable with the state-of-the-art AI engines that we probably have at the vision level. Right? So you have services, AWS, you have Google providing the required service. IBM Watson once was really good at emotion-based APIs. I think that is the place where the potential is to be harnessed, and all of you should understand how to develop these things. That's where I appreciate your BS program, where you don't just simply study AI as a bunch of ideas. You also create user interfaces, right? You also do your, what is that course? Application development courses that you do. You do some programming courses, right? End-to-end development you do, right? Yeah, good. So Preeti Mohan, go ahead with your question.
Yes, sir. Sir, one doubt, sir. How the Chat GPT, Google Gemini, all this AI is coded from the back end? And what codes is written for that to work?
I don't know. I don't think anyone knows outside there. It's all, as I told you, it's a big ecosystem. For instance, even a simple software that is developed, you see Windows as an operating system, who develops it? Microsoft? I don't think so. So Microsoft probably does one layer. Another layer probably is outsourced to someone else. For all you know, in a neighboring city, some offices in Bangalore would be doing some modules. Right? Not every module will be done everywhere. That's where I'm telling you people that there is this craze, there is this fad that we have to understand at the architecture level what is what. I think we should avoid that temptation. You should understand the fundamentals of the subject, no doubt about it. But then what you should also understand, need of the hour today, is to simply take, implement, and see where it will be useful. If you want to tweak at the internal level, I think the game is very different. The ball game is very different there. Yeah, Divya Jyoti Acharya.
Sir, one more thing.
Sir, okay,
sir, is data science still in demand after AI has come into the market?
See, another thing I really don't understand is distinguishing data science with ML, with AI, with soft computing, with whatnot. Of course, there is some differences historically, but right now these are very interchangeably used. We did some small analytics with an intern a year or two ago, where we looked at syllabus across different universities. Any given topic is uniformly at random taught in one of these courses as umbrella, right? So I don't think we have to break our head much about the titles. But then yes, you should see that there are some 30 great ideas which one must understand. Right? Even the very distinction of supervised versus unsupervised, I'm not a big fan of dividing things like this. It's all a bunch of techniques, like how you study, what you study in MLT, right? We should see it that way. In fact, we should not even see it as an a subject in computer science, right? I mean, see them as questions and answers is how I would like to put it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, go
Sir,
ahead.
am I audible?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Sir, I wanted to ask, so the models that we have today are most of them are black box in nature. I mean, they know how to produce answers, but we can't interpret how exactly are they producing the answers. So, sir, adopting these AI technologies into various domains like healthcare or any other domain, so some domains require, the ability to understand and interpret the model. So, what research has been going on in the recent time on making these models more interpretable, uh, so that we can know how they're producing the answers?
Yeah, that's right. So the very word interpretability that you used, people have been working at different levels: explainability, interpretability, accountability. This is the obvious question that you will ask: that if your vehicle is going, will it do what you ask the vehicle to do? Right? Will it be ethical enough to be doing by deciding what is right for the machine to do? Just give me a second. I'm trying to share my laptop. Just a minute. Okay, I'll fix this in a minute. But then, so the fundamental idea that we all should understand is this is a new way of computing, actually, an old way of computing, realized newly right now, which was theoretically penned down long back, but right now it's a reality. And now that it's a reality, people are observing that this complicated engine called a neural network and its different forms can be used to infer stuff. That's it. The idea is just simple, right? Stacking the neurons in a particular way, using a particular architecture will help you infer stuff, right? But once that comes, there's a huge hype also that comes with it, which AI has been seeing from a long time, right? You all know of AI summers and winters. If not, take a look at the history, right? There's a lot of hype surrounding it, and we only understand as much as it appears, where bring in some non-linearity, which your neural networks do very nicely, and it can compute anything complicated. And with that, you can infer something that is inferable by human beings, right? Beyond this, there is nothing much. But that said, technically speaking, there are many problems that open up. Well, one of which is explainability, interpretability, accountability, the question of ethics. These things independently become a subject of its own, right? Which again opens up possibilities for you people to study, specialize, master, and take up as a career option. Again, I would say these things are better a career option than getting into at the architecture level. I know of many friends who are doing that, who are sort of losing it out right now, that this is going nowhere. For instance, let me give you a simple example of historically speaking, the generative adversarial networks, the GANs, and the stable diffusion models that we have right now for Gen AI, vision-based Gen AI, right? I mean, these two are completely different ideas, right? This was one idea to generate synthetic images. This is another idea to generate synthetic images. Both have nothing to do with each other. People spend a lot of time on this, and now they realize this can be done in a much better way. Now think of a third way that is going to come up. You have spent so much time at the architectural level to understand and implement these things, and a third thing comes and then boom, beats all these things, right? I think we should leave sometimes for the technology to grow until it matures, than to pounce on it and then try to increase it, investing a lot on it. For instance, you invested a lot on bullock cart and automobile industry came in, right? Where are you going to put even from the wheels to the bull? Nothing is usable there, right? So one has to be pretty careful with these things. But then, yeah, long story short, it is important for us to invest our time in all these other dimensions of AI study.
Got it, sir.
So someone is asking, assuming 10 years from now, will data science field sustain? I think I get a nice answer there saying, I think no, nobody knows is a good answer. And Sayam says nobody knows field nature of field studies, but I guess skills are transferable and can be used in another field too. Okay, here's one danger that I foresee. In my little study of the history of different branches of engineering and my talking to some people, mechanical engineering, civil engineering is not so much in demand like computer science. There's a reason for it. This is a shocking reason, by the way. Let this be the take-home message for today's talk. If you people are wondering if there is one thing that you want us to know, let it be this thing. Civil, mechanical, or any other core branches, if you see, an engineer can be replaced by a diploma holder or a person who has done certification in, let's say, civil engineering basics, right? I want to become a person who can construct buildings, work at the architectural level of buildings. It is enough for me to go experience it from an expert, learn it, and then start doing it. That is not true of computer science. Computer science requires a lot of smartness at the level of going and understanding what the requirement is. The software requirement, as they say, the software life cycle, as they say, requires enormous amount of smartness at the IQ, EQ level, because of which computer science, a bachelor's degree in IT especially, it was not replaceable by a diploma holder or a person who would take a certificate from NIIT, AppTech like places of the 90s. They tried that, but it was not equivalent. But then now, with the advent of the kind of technologies that we are seeing, anybody can upskill themselves as a programmer and do a wonderful job, right? As I'm saying it, I was envisioning to have software things up and going for my own place here, which I thought would require 20 people to do it some 5-6 years ago, and now my front office is able to do it, right? My front office is smart. Any smart non-tech person is able to do what a smart BTech student would otherwise do. So that is where we should be careful, and that is where I would like to answer this question. Assuming 10 years from now, will data science field sustain? Definitely, it is like asking, will civil engineering field be there? It is definitely there. जो हिंदी में बोलते हैं हम रोटी कपड़ा मकान, right? So उसमें makan, if you want a good house, you need a civil engineer. It's required, but there's no demand so much for civil engineers, you see, because it can be easily replaced by people who can do what a civil engineer does. Similarly, I think you can have people who can do what a data scientist, a graduate from MIT, Harvard does. Probably a diploma holder can do. And for all we know, a good news is that an IITM BS student can do what a Stanford graduate does. It is my quote, all right? I'm responsible for this statement, right? So you can easily do, and hence IITM degree at least will be in demand for the next 10 years. After that, you must upskill yourself on what will be the next thing. And IITM is also coming out with various other bachelor programs. Probably it will come out with one looking at what will be in demand in the future. Yeah, Matlin Jaleshia, please go ahead.
Sir, I want to know your take on the future of astronomy, integrating astronomy with machine learning or data science.
So see, the idea of X in AI in X or X in AI is no doubt the answer is a positive yes, because in the 90s, if you see again, when computers came, people are asking, will computer science have anything to do with economics? Will computer science invade stock markets? Do you think the BSE, NSE, or whatever, New York Stock Exchange become completely automated with computers? You know the answer, right? Will typists be replaced by computers? I mean, computer operators, you know the answer, right? This is the new computer science like wave. Definitely AI will be there everywhere, not just astronomy, even astrology, where I don't know. I mean, me and you may not believe in astrology, but computer science has come into astrology. All the kundli making can be done using a computer, right? Maybe ML is all about predictions. It may even give a new look to astrology, although your question was on astronomy. For the sake of making it humorous note, I am even including astrology here. It will be applicable
Yeah, true.
everywhere. It's only commonsensical. You see how you interpret data, how you see data. Things are so easy to do. Like how I took all your data right now. And imagine I even took your taste of food, your background, your ethnicity, and 4 or 5 more parameters. Probably I would even know, I might predict your grades. I might predict what would interest you. I might predict how to custom tailor my talk. So it's usable even for a poor teacher like me, right? Astronomy, definitely yes. And in fact, it was astronomy that gave us, that was the birth of least squares method by Gauss. He first used it on astronomical data, if I am not wrong, right? So
Okay.
goes without saying, it will have its share of applications.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Vansh?
Good evening, sir. Am I audible? Sir, I want to ask about how to approach an idea that theoretically sound, but right now it's not possible due to hardware and software limitation, as you said before. Should we wait for the technological advancement to advance to that level, or what should we do?
No, this is pretty confusing. Like the KN paper, which was released a couple of months ago. I tried breaking my head to understand that, and then I realized a lot of waste of time. Right, even attention mechanism, the BERT model, I've spent a lot of time understanding these things. At the end of the day, I realized that understanding these things is of not much of any use unless I want to work in that direction and then compete at the level of publishing papers, superseding the ideas that is given already. I mean, even whether you do it or not, I think people will supersede it. The industry will look at better ways of getting that done, right? I don't think as youngsters you should by any chance put implementation ideas below and put, working at the paper level, at the architecture level ideas above at this stage. If it interests you so much, you can be in touch with a professor who's an expert and take up that academic line. But otherwise, it appears very complicated to me. I've been observing researchers and observing the field from close to 15 years, from when language translation became popular. And I still remember the CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai, saying that language translation mein ek cheez mil raha hai humko, usko leke we can come out with a brand new AI idea. He said the idea of transformers was inspired by language translation only, if you people know, right? So he claimed that, and then it happened, and OpenAI took that. Someone like Google could not implement a nice LLM, which OpenAI did. Someone like Google could not even compete with Meta today, right? You don't, and me claiming that I will do a fantastic job sitting in India, I'm not so sure youngsters should take that risk. It's fun to read, spend good amount of time reading these papers, trying to understand what is what, even do a nice research project. But then I would say the importance should be given more at the implementation level, because so many things out there which requires implementation, so many. At an India like place, go to a small shop, right? The CCTV feed that the person is getting, an anomaly detection there is a fantastic vision question, which we have not properly solved. You cannot integrate that so easily into your cameras. You cannot embed that into your cameras so easily. From that question to a shoplifting question to identifying a person who is jumping the traffic sign, all these are brilliant AI questions which requires people to work on implementation. Not to mention, someone started with the cybersecurity question. There are tons of questions in cybersecurity which is fearing the advent of AI right now, right? So one can work at that level. The moment we say AI, what we get in our minds is the recent papers, the recent trends. I think that's probably not in the top list of things that one can do with AI today, in my humble opinion. In my own observation, I think there's a lot of pending stuff that one can do, and you guys should start doing it from your very first year.
So,
Yeah,
according
Sharda.
to you, we will focus on implementation now rather than going deep into the research. Am I correct?
No, that's my humble suggestion to you people. Unless you are a diehard fan, you want to be an academic, you want to get into the details, you want to get your hands muddy and dirty, and you find it fun, which I think I find fun too. But then the need and returns both are not 10 on 10 there, in
Thank
my
you,
observation. Once again, some professors disagree. Yeah. Yeah, Sharda, go ahead. Yes, maybe Arka.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask that is there any chance that AI will crack the code of food industry, developing recipes or re-innovating old recipes?
A very good question. So I don't know. I mean, I probably am, if not fully qualified, I am maybe decently qualified to answer this question, because we specialize at our IIT Roper on AI-based ideas in agriculture and food industry extensively. In fact, let me just give the link to our website here. You just look at this. You type Awadh IIT Roper and then look at our website. And we want to come out with, just today afternoon, in fact, with my team, we were discussing that we have to come out with some hackathons on some data sets where we'll keep, and then you will say what grows well where. For instance, if I want to grow something in this particular region, which time should I grow what? And after that, what should I do? And what else should I grow? And so on and so forth, right? So that kind of a recommendation system, right? You understand what's a recommendation system, right? You go to Amazon, it tells you what to buy. Go to Netflix and you will get to know what to. Yeah, so it recommends to a farmer, like a Netflix movie that you will like. It recommends to a farmer, and it not just recommends him something that will give you money, but it will recommend something that will be in demand tomorrow at the nutrition level. You see, if you take nutrition and money making are two different things in agriculture, right? What is important for you to eat is different from what is tasty on your tongue, is different from what is what will give you less calories, is different from what is good given the weather conditions, climatic conditions this season, right? So such a recommender system is very much required, and that is when I say that taking a lot of data, crunching it, making sense out of it is the new definition of AI and its applications. And it's no more at the algorithmic level, at least as far as I see it. As a fellow professor who wants to see many students get into this domain, because it can only happen in India, we're going to upskill so many students, so many people out there on using AI as a toolkit, right? How do we do that at an implementation level is more of a challenge than making it very academic. Yeah, the architect, aka Pranav, please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Very non-technical question. What kind of camera setup are you using right now? Is it tracking you?
Yeah, it's tracking me.
Oh,
it is tracking me, as you can see.
So does it have like a gimbal sort of a thing? Or how does it?
That's a very technical question. No, this is again. So I think this is something that I dug up recently, that all your iPhones right now have this facility. So it is called some infinity camera facility, where what it does is at the hardware level, of course, you need a good hardware, but then most of these things today can be done with a good maybe software hack, right? Background blur or face tracking, or having multiple cameras and realizing how one could change the aperture and stuff like that. And not just that, I think there are many nice facilities that you get with some of the, I don't know whether it's working or not. So when you do this, balloons come up, right? I don't know, it's not enabled probably. Yeah, that's a very technical question, by the way, Pranav. It's not at all non-technical. It's the most technical question for today. Yeah, even thumbs up shows.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, very much. Please go ahead.
Okay. So my question is that, like you said, we need to learn how to use technologies rather than going deep into the algorithm and everything, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I would want you to elaborate more on this, that how would you make yourself stand out if everyone starts using the technologies and everyone knows, like how would you stand out, and how And one more
No, no. So
question.
let me just qualify that statement a bit. So all I was trying to say is, see, right now I am hungry, very hungry. Let's say I'm not, as an example, I'm very, very hungry, so much that I'm going to faint. Should I work out or should I eat?
Eat.
That's only obvious. Or should I go out and make more money while I already have some money? So there's something called the need of the hour. Right now, we have enough technologies which are yet to see good usage. And there is demand for these technologies to enter, sort of permeate into many aspects of life. Right? Anything that generates data requires a person to see the data very passionately in a very motherly way, and then understand what kind of a AI solution can one provide for this kind of a setup, right? That is more in demand right now, right? How do we tweak? Probably is also in demand, but let that happen in parallel this side. Now, for instance, let me pause and explain historically how all these things happened. I think I have given many such talks, so that so I didn't want to repeat that flavor. But then, as you know, the world was waiting to realize a neural network. GPUs came from the gaming industry. People who were gaming left, right, center contributed to the AI industry today, and all the parents who are complaining that don't spoil your life by spending all your time and money on gaming are the ones who gave us the realization of a multi-layer neural network today. The realization of CNNs happened because of the gaming world, particularly Sony and Microsoft coming out with Xbox and PlayStation, right? So, and even Nintendo for that matter, right? So I think if we were worrying so much about coming out with a GPU-like device back in 1990s, we would be ending up spending a lot of money with no avail. But we just left that. We let the technology advance. And one fine day, we realized that what gaming world is doing is precisely the answer for our question on where a neural network can be implemented, right? Sometimes we may have to wait. We may not have to rush. So given the crowd, a sizable amount of them should be working on how to better at the hardware, software level, at the algorithmic level, the data sanitization level, at the security level. But then a good chunk of them should see how we can implement what we have already. And I feel the need for it. This is a very personal take on what is, it's generalist, not generalist or specialist idea. The idea is the need of the hour. We all should move towards what's in demand, what is possible, what will give us good returns. And for some reason, this is disproportionate today. A sizable number of them are taking up AI and want to do core AI, while AI focus in civil, AI focus in policy making, AI focus in, let's say, pharmaceuticals is more in demand. I mean, more required. Hunger is more there than making more money analogy. Right. This is how I would like to qualify the statement that I made. Yeah, continue your question. Whether you had a second part to the question.
That answers pretty much. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Go ahead, Ayush Datta.
Hello, sir. Is my voice audible? So actually, I used to work with drones a lot in my university. So there, I was actually responsible for like embedding computer vision models over there, so that it can be used for like detections of crops and other applications. I used to like have a professor as a mentor. So there, one major problem that I used to like face is that the models they were like so heavy. In non-technical terms, I'm saying is that like the Raspberry Pis or Jets and Nanos, especially the Raspberry Pis, they used to get like really really hot after some time or really non-responsive. And apparently, once it happened, is that one caught fire in the university. So my question from this context is that is there any way to like reduce the size or impact of these very high performance AI models? I need your suggestion on that.
So yeah, I must give a disclaimer that I am no expert in this. While I say that, I also would like to add that most of these ideas are basic ideas on why certain things are not possible at the lightweight level, right? So for instance, let's segregate this into two classifications. First, let's even talk about the optimization problem that a typical drone solves, right? I will come to the heating up question in a minute, right? Look at a typical drone. There is something called drag and a pull, right? So if you want to push the drone up, right? You need power, right? You need energy, and that energy comes in the form of your lithium ion battery or whatever is the technology. And more you stack there, more will be the weight. You see the trade-off here? You put more battery, it will increase the weight, and it will take a lot of effort for it to drag itself up. This is the drag and pull um, whatever trade-off that you see in flying objects in general, right? And when you do this, when you keep stacking batteries and somehow solve this problem, there is another problem of embedding the right processing units inside so that it is intelligent enough not to bump into someone's head or see a wire and then get stuck there, or injure a bird and stuff like that, right? When you try all these things, there are many other optimization questions that will come in play, which is also the fans or the wings that you are using or the propellers that you are using if it's an aircraft, right? It becomes a very, very complicated optimization problem. And there is another optimization problem which nature is yet to solve. Okay, that is your longevity of the human body, because such optimization questions happening within your body. I keep telling this, giving this example, right? So if I take more calcium, it's bad for my heart. If I take less calcium, it is bad for my bones, right? Should I take more or should I take less? Drinking water is actually injurious to your body. Lots of water intake should be not beyond a given amount, right? But then not taking water will dehydrate you, right? So your human body is optimizing this, and then at the end of the day, even your brain gets very heated up, right? You need coolants for your brain. It gets extremely heated up. In fact, body is also trying to solve that problem. When human body in this universe, which is 14 billion years old, is unable to solve this problem, we trying to solve it at the devices level, I think is I don't know, is not easy, if not impossible, right? I'm not surprised why it was difficult for you to create something that won't catch fire. That is one reason why your typical CPU stopped progressing. The Moore's law is no more applicable in computers because they went ahead. I think Deva Smith, who is here, of my generation, close to my generation, if not exactly my generation, is pulling your leg. So we all saw systems. I have worked on a 1 megahertz system, maybe even less than that, right? And then that getting doubled, tripled, and then it was 66 megahertz. It was an amazing machine. My first PC was like 266 megahertz. I was very happy. I felt like I had wings. And then it went to 1 gigahertz. We saw all these things progress. 2 gigahertz, 2.7, 3, and then something happened. After that, nothing happened. Something happened and nothing happened. What is that something happened? People realized that it would catch fire if we overdo this. We cannot increase the processor's computing ability. But then you can stack one processor on top of the other. All right, do it. Keep 2 CPUs, let's say. But then the communication complexity increases there. You must do a zoom, zoom, zoom. You have what is called a register. You have what is called a RAM. You have what is called a hard disk. In the pyramid, you will observe that the if storage can even happen if the power goes away. But then there's a trade-off at the level of how much you can do. Read-write speed is very bad for a hard disk, right? I'm just giving you a very, very naive example between a RAM as well as a hard disk. Similarly, stacking these processors led to heat and communication complexity, right? And this optimization problem people are trying to solve. It's of no avail. And that is when the movement is now towards quantum computing, to try to see if we should actually come out with a new computing model, enough of the Turing machine. Is there something that we can do which uses nature to compute, which uses state-of-the-art ideas, which may not really be the typical von Neumann model that we all study as part of computer organization or architecture, right? That line is also sort of opening up, and quantum computing appears to be a reality in roughly a few hundreds of years down the line. I don't know, that's my, if we don't go extinct, we will probably see a quantum computer coming. If not our generation, definitely the next generation. I'm saying extinct because in all these things, right, with more and more devices coming, the global warming is only getting, the globe is only getting warmer and warmer. right? With some people in the US, not even some presidents, especially not even believing in global warming and saying this is a hoax, right? When they say COVID is a hoax, somehow we can debate that. But if someone says global warming is a hoax, we don't know. Temperatures in cities say that. Anyway, you said heating up issue that one can talk a lot on the issue of heating up. Yeah, Prabhat Kumar Banerjee, please go ahead.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
It's getting late. 9:30. Please go ahead.
Sir, my question was how much programming is required to at least delve into the code that we generate from AI and to tweak the steps, or rather knowing to prompt the things. Sir, likely I was yes, sir. Likely I was in search for an online assessment test of GS, and I in the computation thinking course I learned about the depth first search algorithm that I implemented and made a graph for. And so, sir, how much programming that we need to do certain things, sir?
Okay, so I don't know. I have a very, very biased opinion here. I'm an academic. I don't build systems, but lately I'm realizing most of what I do, very little of what I do is not requiring programming at all. And even if I can envision what I can possibly do in the next few days, if it's a tough programming exercise, I feel it does not require any programming skill. Increasingly, programming skill, I feel, is going slowly extinct. But that said, there'll be some bunch of people who will say programming is important, you should think in the basic terms, etc., etc. But then you see, here is the English language, here is the programming language. You see Python is basically C, if you didn't know, right? It is C that is beautifully wrapped with ease, right? Which takes more of your processor time, but then the trade-off is that it's easy to implement, easy to use, right? Below that level is, let's say, at the assembly level. If you want to work at the microprocessor level, do it. At the lower level is the machine level language in the idea of zeros and ones. It is good for the brain to look at code with zeros and ones and then implement it. One can even get into the Guinness Book of World Records today. But the point is that at the next level is electronics moving from this side to that side. Where do we stop? So at every time I've been in this generation where when the Pascal as a programming language, Fortran as a programming language was there, people were criticizing, why do you learn C? C was the Python back then, right? So why to learn C? You should do it using Fortran, you should do it using COBOL and stuff like that. Databases means Fox Pro. What are you people talking about? Oracle and modern RDBMS and so on. But then very soon, none of you even know what is Fortran, COBOL, or Pascal today, right? I think things will come, things will go. I think right now it will take some time for us to realize that English is the new programming language. Until then, let us learn some Python from Python teachers like Sudarshan Iyengar, whose very course in BS today I don't endorse. I have met many authors. You go and talk to them. I proudly say I refer to your book, and they will say, why are you referring to my book? I don't refer to my books anymore. I have at least met 2 such authors in my lifetime, where I know this person called Neil Koblitz, who wrote a beautiful book on cryptography. When I met him in Hyderabad in one of the conferences, I was telling him about some of the chapters that he has written, and I told him I really enjoyed reading that. He said that don't read that book. I don't refer to that anymore. Right? I think we should also grow out of this craze of learning programming. That said, do what your teacher tells you. I don't think I, as a teacher, endorse learn programming from first principles anymore. I would like to do it the prompt way and use that time wisely to develop more systems, and then eventually learn the nuances of programming, right, if required. Right. Sayam Jain, go ahead. Either ask a question or give me an answer.
Sir, not a question, to be honest. I was just asking whether we should be specialist or a generalist. Like I guess Yash has answered that.
Yeah. So yeah, at the end of the day, the point is, what do we want to do? If it takes to be a generalist, we should be one. If it takes to be a specialist, we should be one. I increasingly feel that there is an amount of breadth and depth both required. For instance, I work on some ideas that are very close to my heart. I'm a specialist in that. But as a generalist, I should also understand what it takes for students to learn. Otherwise, I cannot be a good teacher, right? I cannot be a good conversationalist in an airport if I'm not a generalist, right? I cannot help my fellow scholar from I sit in the doctoral committees of research scholars from biotech department, right? If I'm too much of a specialist, I cannot help them out with my share of input. So You have to switch from the mode of being a good son, from the mode of being a good husband to being a good dad. You sort of have to play multiple roles here. Right, my son is there signaling, sir, yeah, dad, are you really a good dad? You told me that you will come at 9 o'clock. You're still with the Zoom session. Anyway, so that's how our Zoom sessions go. Some of our joy of computing, some of our coders high people sitting here know that we start, we don't end. Unfortunately, I'm not in that setup today. My studio is a little hot and humid, so I'm sitting in my cooling room. Anyway, so that said, I must point you all to the Coders High sessions that are happening right now. These days, it's happening at a very different level. Anyone who wants to join this Coders High session should ping Madhur, who is here. Not here. Madhur Tareja is his name. He is a BS student. He is handling everything. He is here with us. We have a fantastic team of 4 people from BS degree. One is Aditya. Aditya, you can raise your hand. Aditya is here. You can contact him. Madhur was here. I think he's handling the Coders session that side.
Sir, he's not here, sir.
Farad Kadri is not here. No problem. We have Farad Kadri, who is also with us right now. I am surrounded by 4 BS students, 4 to 5 BS students all the time in my institute, and many of my own students are surprised to see how good these people are and how the syllabus of BS degree is something that we should sort of inherit at different levels. And as you all know, we are coming out with ways in which we can get more BS students come and join our institute for their MS or credit transfers and things like that. So more details to come very soon. It's all done in principle, but then once it comes as an approval on paper, we will let you all know. There's a possibility for you to do your master's degree at IIT Roper full time by spending just 1 year after your BS degree. Right? We will have Davis Smith as our first batch of student coming here. Young at heart, Davis Smith. Right? So
definitely, sir.
Yeah, Davis Smith, anything? Any comment?
Definitely, it's a good talk, sir. I think August 15th being a holiday, I think it was good to see you, and we've been missing Coder session for a long time. It was overdue.
Right. So I'm also handling this AI for All initiative from our institute, where we are offering a minor in AI. There's a lot of overwhelming response, and it's very confusing to see what to teach, what not to teach there. It's very easy to teach at the API level, but it'll be extinct very soon. Something else will come, and what we taught is no more applicable. If we overdo the fundamentals, then it gets very mathy, and people get discouraged. Right? What kind of a balance to strike is something that we are sort of struggling to understand.
About Gen AI, I can share some of the industry use cases, at least without naming customers. So this LLM, everybody's worried about privacy, because particularly businesses, they don't want to share their private documents to an API call. So what a lot of people are trying to think is, we have a lot of knowledge in our private document, and can it be more conversational? Can I talk to my documents, right, inside my company? So essentially, you create a chatbot, and then we will go and read your document and only answer in a very specific context. Because my customer service or my way of communication or my template is different from what my competition does. So can I take a very large model and kind of customize it for my own specific use case? This is where it's not so much about the math on how to optimize the API, rather how to use the API to suit my needs. I think that is kind of what you're saying is, yeah, if I want to build the API, spend $50 million to train these models, which none of us have that money, then very few companies will be actually able to develop LLM and compete. So that space is gone, unless you are like Ola or somebody else, who has big pocket, right? That you can do.
Absolutely,
Otherwise,
yeah.
for most of us, students, practitioners, with less than $1 million in a pocket, so we should focus more on like use cases which can solve practical problems, and that I think should be our main goal. But of course, that should not discourage people to go look at the car, how the engine is made of, and all that. But I think how to
it's all fun. Yeah, it's all fun. But can it be a quick career? Whatever. Can one get quick career blessing? I'm unsure of it. At least for the past 1 or 2 months, I'm realizing that this can even be a dangerous route, which will only realize after a while. For instance, someone who's into programming overdoing the compiler level understanding. We need people who will do compiler level optimization, but the demand for that probably is 1 in 100 of the BTech Janta, right? If everybody starts doing compiler level optimization and they only know that, right, there'll be nobody who can probably use programming at the implementation level. Completely my take. And on another note, Dibasmith, what you were saying is that there's something called privacy preserving. Again, I'm going to take a very generalistic point of view, given that I understand some amount of security. Something called privacy preserving protocols, a fantastic finding and research, which again is 30 years old, very ahead of its time, where what it will do is, here's the software. I can guarantee you that you can use it. I can prove to you that you can use it, and it will use your data, analyze and tell you what is what, and then it will not learn anything from the data. It will forget everything, purge everything, and then eject itself out. And one can prove that it does precisely this. Your credit card does that. Whenever you transact with someone, right? I'm talking about a very old classical crypto idea. It ensures that no information from your credit card that you exchange can be sniffed and used, spoofing you, right? That is not possible at all, because protocols guarantee you that. Similarly, there is something called the privacy preserving protocols, where we both can transact, we both can talk. I can prove to you how much money I have, how much money you have, but at the end, you will not get to know anything beyond who is richer. It's actually called the Yavos millionaire problem. Two people can get together and then exchange a protocol, and then finally they decide who has more money. But you will not get to know how much money I have, how much money you have. Right? Such things are available today, especially the crypto domain. But then it again requires two people to talk. The problem is these people don't understand this subject, and these people don't even know this subject is so advanced. And world has such things. Don't think that there are great universities where this talking is happening. I don't think it's happening. I don't think it will happen also, because I keep saying, recently I updated my LinkedIn post saying we academicians should do less of Neeraj Chopra and do more of Mother Teresa. Right? We should do less of Olympics level competing, all the unhealthy competition that academics does. It is required. That is what keeps us adrenaline rush going. But then there's a trade-off there. We do less of giving when we overdo the Olympics. Neeraj Chopra should do Olympics. He's meant to do Olympics, but I should not do Olympics here on my returns, on how many hours I teach, or how much money I earn. Right? You guys should not do the Olympics of GPA. You should try your level best to manage a decent GPA, but your focus should not only be on GPA, like the javelin throw or a shot put throw. Maximizing the distance. Nothing else is important there beyond that. Right? Hopefully, no newspaper journalist will misquote me, or a journalist in general will misquote me by saying that here is a professor who says Olympics is not the right thing to do. All I meant is the Olympics algorithm should not be used in academics. Anyways, as and always, nice to meet you all. Let's catch up. Let me stop the recording here, if it's okay.